Welcome, everyone. We are live. I see you. There you are. All right. Worthy or unworthy? We were reading the Neville Goddard books for bedtime stories, and there was one line that stood out to me. He says, "It's not about whether you are worthy or unworthy of the thing. That does not come into the criteria. It doesn't fit into the criteria of when you ask yourself, what do I want to experience? Whether you are worthy or unworthy is not part of the equation. That is not the question. Here's the beauty of the law. Yes? If you feel worthy, how do you behave? Oh, you behave as if you're king of the world. You notice how this is not coming from a place of arrogance, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually being truly confident and knowing that you are worthy. It is not anything to do with how you were treated in the past. Because if you look back at the past and how you were treated from the past, a funny thing happens to you. You begin to trigger the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. So if you go back into your memories, and you know how we like to reminisce, don't we? If you catch yourself reminiscing about how poorly you felt, a funny thing happens. You now get the privilege of reliving that same thing all over again. So if you're going to remember something, if you're going to recall information, let it be good. Don't sit there and draw up memories that quote unquote remind you of your worthy or unworthiness. Because if you entertain those things, you now have to do what? Live them out. Oh, but Angela, who determines my worth? The reflection in the mirror does. We out here in these streets singing Jesus take the wheel when we've forgotten that we are Jesus. Hmm. Oh, indeed. You see, whether I come along and tell you that you are worthy is irrelevant. You must determine your own worth. Well, how do you do that? Are you here? You're worthy. Even if you were in another dimension, you're still worthy. Do you know why you are? Because without the law, we cease to be. The law governs creation. So if you are here, my beautiful friend, that's your worthiness. The law isn't here telling you, well, according to what you did yesterday, you're not worthy. You're sliding down the unworthy scale. The law doesn't say that. Ever. Ever. You, right? And me, or you and I, depending on the grammar of the day, we allow ourselves to slip back into our old way of thinking, our old way of living. Remember when you used to walk down the street and you would hear, oh, you're no good? Remember that? Yeah. That's the past. That is no longer relevant in your life unless you give it relevance. Unless you breathe life into it, it cannot live. How do you breathe life into it? When you sit there and you reminisce. When you sit there and you reminisce. If you are going to reminisce, because we do, bring up the good things. Bring up the compliments. Bring up the good testimonials. Why? Because when you reminisce about the good things, yes, your body has a particular response. Well, as above, so below, as within, so without. You can't entertain, as the old folks would tell you, well, child, if you lay down with that dog, you're going to get fleas. So if you reminisce on your goodness, because there is only good made, you reminisce about the beautiful things that have happened to you. You reminisce about the good things you have heard about yourself or witnessed about yourself. Well, what happens? As within, so without. That is what happens. But if we reminisce about that time somebody made fun of you on the playground, oh my God, look at your knees. You're like so ashy. See those things? Yeah. Then what does that do? It triggers that, am I good enough? They're going to laugh at me. My grandfather made sure to nip that in the bud right away. Oh, yes, he did. It was a Christmas Eve, and somebody had to sing Silent Night. I won't call any names. And I was scared. And I said to my grandfather, but what if they laugh at me? He looked at me. You gotta love him. He goes, well, so what? Most people don't even have the courage to get up to sing somewhere. Your job is to sing the song. You have practiced with your grandmother. Sing the song. Do what you practiced. And I was like, but he's like, there aren't any buts. Do what you practice with your grandmother, and you'll be just fine. And sure enough, it was great. Nerve-wracking, but great. So you see, it does not matter what that person's opinion of you is. They are not the ones who determine whether you are worthy or unworthy. That's on you. Oh, I'm prepping us for tonight. Brazen Impudence is what we're reading tonight from Neville Goddard for our bedtime story. So you see, worthy or unworthy, which one will you choose? The funny thing is this. Well, not funny as in haha, but beautiful in that you can predict exactly what's going to happen depending on which one you choose. One of those things is going to make you feel incredibly beautiful. It will have a most beautiful response in your body. Correspondence, remember? So if you walk through the day and you tell yourself that you are worthy, something begins to happen to you. You begin to feel your worthiness. Yes, of course you do. You begin to speak as if you were worthy. Oh, and that feels good, doesn't it? Of course it does. But then you can also predict what's going to happen if you walk around with, well, I'm not worthy. And then we want to feign our surprise and go, how dare you treat me as if I'm not worthy? Because you are the one who sees yourself unworthy. And so I can only mirror back to you what you project outward. So what have you got to gain by being worthy? A lot. You've got everything to gain. You see, because whether you think yourself to be worthy or think yourself to be unworthy, you are still going to create. So it is always going to be best to create from a place of worthiness. Why? Because then all of your experiences, aka your offspring, because remember what you're doing, you're self-impregnating. We are Virgin Mary today. We, by that feeling of either worthy or unworthy, that is the image our offspring will take. Oh, yes. You're creating their DNA simply with a choice. Yeah, but how do I feel worthy? Don't think you are. Know that you are. Ponder this for a moment. We think we're different from night and day. We think we're different from high tide and low tide. We are not. Those things happen because the law is. So we are because the law is. We move and have our being in the law itself. That's what makes you worthy. The law does. Not because the side of the tracks you were born on. That's not worthy. That has nothing to do with worthiness. Oh, but that's not what people say. There's one voice you should be most concerned with. And it is the voice that will make you say, "Oh man, I should have done it. I should have listened." Or you say, "I sure glad that I listened to that voice." That's the voice you should be concerned with. Not the one that makes you question if you think you are worthy. You know that you are, because without the law, nothing is. And because it is worthy. Well, how so? Because the law does not just do random willy-nilly. How do we know? The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation, as within, so without, as above, so below. Think about how precise those laws are. Vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, and gender. They are precise. They don't waver. So it tells you that the mind that thought of them was very deliberate. It didn't look out across the span of time and say, "Oh, look, there goes Angela. You know what? I'm not going to do rhythm because I know she's just going to muck it up anyway." No rhythm for everybody. No, everybody is worthy. Oh, Angela, you don't know George. George doesn't know himself. That's why he doesn't think he's worthy. The law is precise and it does not make mistakes. And because it is, we are. Period. You don't have to earn your worthiness. Mm-mm. You just come with that. A bird doesn't have to earn its wings, people. They come with wings. That's what makes it worthy. That's what makes you worthy. Because you exist. And here's the thing, you can't not exist. Oh, because the spirit is eternal. So you are eternally worthy. Oh, yes, you are. Whether you are in this realm or another, because it tells you as above, so below. Also, scripture will tell you neither height nor depth, life nor death can separate you from the love of God. So you can rise on the wings of the dawn, or you can settle on the far side of the sea. Even there, your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. Psalm 139, verse 9 and 10. So you see, your worthiness does not matter. It's not based upon where you are. It's based upon the fact that you are. That's what makes you worthy. But you know how we get sometimes. Oh, but she said. Oh, but he said. That is hearsay. So here's a question. You are going to take the word of somebody else to tell you if you're worthy or not, right? And then you're going to build your whole life based upon their faulty opinion. And that's easy for you to accept. But I'm going to tell you that you are worthy, and you'll say to me, well, I don't believe that. That's too hard to believe. But you want to tell me it's easier to believe that somebody can come along and say, well, you're not worthy, and you're going to run with that. Look at what you're doing. You are either or. You're choosing either that you're worthy, or you're choosing that you're unworthy. Which one are you going to choose? Well, choose the one that is fact. Choose the one that starts in the chest and it spreads all throughout your body. And it makes you get up and say, I am worthy. Choose that one. Well, what's the other option? I'm not worthy. I'll sit here in this corner until somebody validates my worth. You're going to be waiting a long time. The law does not want that for you. It does not want you to sit around and wait for somebody else to tell you who and what you are. The law is showing you every single day what you are. That's what it's doing day in and day out. Every day. So what are you going to do? What have you to gain by knowing yourself to be worthy? Everything. You can give yourself everything. But if you sit there and entertain the I'm not worthy, as Neville so eloquently put it, you are robbing yourself of a good life. Living my life like it's golden, golden, right? You want to live like it's golden? Well, then you have to know that you are worthy. You have to know it. Well, how do you know it? When you get up and you say, I am worthy. Just you listen, you don't have to say it out loud. You could whisper it, you could think it. And something will happen to your body. It'll have a response. It'll either confirm or it will contradict. You'll know by the way it feels in your body. If it contradicts and says something to you, your body will say something to you like, well, according to this memory, you are unworthy. Well, the body is only recalling information that it has stored. You get to override that stored information. Uh-huh. Of course you do. You now get to say, whoa, whoa, slow your roll, baby. I know what that memory is, but we don't live from our memories. I'm being deliberate today, and I am telling you that I am worthy. Oh, of course, your voice may shake at first. Your knees may quiver at first. But the more you remind yourself of your worthiness, you will begin to see the corresponding evidence of your worthiness. Remember what Neville says, because it's the law of polarity, right? You can't be looking at unworthy and expect to see the evidence of worthiness. So you have to close your eyes or move yourself mentally from that feeling of unworthiness. Because remember, it is only a feeling. And we all know we run a gamut of feelings all day, every day, don't we? So begin to call up the feeling that you want to have in your body. What does worthy feel like? Well, start feeling worthy and you'll know what it feels like. How do you treat somebody who you deem worthy? You listen to them, you respect them, you care about them, all of those things. You encourage them. Oh, so now that you know what worthy is, do it for yourself. Encourage yourself. Listen to yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Oh, Why? Because that is the reinforcement of your worth, your worthiness. Hmm? You don't have to, listen, you don't have to become worthy. You just need to acknowledge the fact that you are. You are already it. It's just that something perhaps may have blinded the eye. And that's the only reason why you can't see it. Because you don't see it does not mean it isn't there. It just means it's not in your awareness yet. Something has clouded your vision. Let's not be Corey Hart. I wear my sunglasses at night. How you gonna see something? Remove them. Begin to see your worth. Because when you begin to see it, oh, well then, you behave worthy. That's what you do, day in and day out. You see, that is the beauty of what the law does for us every single day. Do not allow, let me give George a break. Don't allow Joe, oh Lord, if your name is Joe, I love you. Don't allow Joe or Karen to come along and say, oh, please, where are you worthy? You don't have as much money as me, so you can't be worthy. You've not invented as many things as I have, so you are not worthy. Sorry. You can simply do what I do some days, and I say, you can say, I reject that. Of course you can. You don't have to take their word for it. You do not. So why entertain it? Yeah, you have to be that brazen. Of course you do. Think about it. You have to be bold. The law is bold. Well, how do you know? Because it says, as above, so below. It doesn't say maybe. Oh, on a good day. No, it says, as above, so below. As within, so without. Oh, it is bold, it is brazen. And what do we hear? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. The great news is you don't have to flatter the law because you can't. You can't do anything to that law to make it banish you. No, you can't. You can only live by way of it and get the best outcome. That's it. That's all you can do. You have to live with that knowledge now that I'm in control. Yes, I am in control. When you say it, you are in control. Of what? Of who? Yes, you and your thoughts. But you see, sometimes the thought just runs in the background and we don't see it. But I told you how you can see it. You see it by way of the evidence that makes you say, why is this always happening to me? Because there's a thought there that brings about that same experience. So if you can see the experience, what is it causing you to behave like? Oh, like you're unworthy? Now you see the problem. Now you see the fly in the soup or in the ointment. Ew. Exactly. You can see it now. And now that you are aware of its existence, you can say, oh, lies you tell. You can say, no, I am worthy. And here's the thing. You keep telling yourself that you are worthy. And the more you tell it, what happens? Well, faith comes by hearing. This is one. But remember, the only reason why we hold on to things or believe them is because of how many times we've heard them before. So get it into you. I am worthy. I want to see the evidence of my worth. And well, when you seek, you find. That's not a maybe. That is fact. It is cause and effect. The effect of seeking is to find. So if you want to grasp the fact that you are worthy, stop entertaining things that are contrary to your worth. You do not speak to yourself in a manner that is unworthy. Oh, but look at how long you've been trying. Oh, and it is so, the memory, I want to say it is cunning, but it's just doing what it always has been designed to do. Right? If you hear in the back of your mind, worthy what? You ain't worthy nowhere. You're never going to be worthy. You're not like them. And that's when you can jump in there. You go, you're damn right I'm not like them. I am me. I am worthy. And of course, you look around and you think people think you're nuts when you say I'm worthy. They don't know what you're doing because you're doing it inside your mind. They don't see that thought, but they do see the actions of that thought. So before it becomes an action, taste it to make sure it is worthy of expression. You are worthy, not because I say so. Again, don't think for one moment that I'm somehow exempt. Oh, I have a childhood. I have memories too. And I know what it's like to gaze at myself in the mirror and go, but if I was, well, then this wouldn't have happened. So I must not be good enough. Look at all of them. They're so much better. Oh, you think I don't have to deal with that? But I do have a choice, just like you do. You shut that foolishness down. Of course. Because the more you entertain lies, you become infected by them. And it goes the other way. The more you entertain the truth, you're purified by it. So you see, today, it is not my opinion that you are worthy. It's not my opinion. It is law. It is fact. Oh, but Angela, have you seen my life? No. You're looking at your life. And if you are looking at it and it is undesirable, what does the law say? The law says to you, see yourself at your best, at your highest, all day, every day. And if you see yourself at your highest, now mind you, where are you seeing it? In your mind's eye. Because the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. So whatever that impression is that you currently hold of yourself, that is the expression you now have to reap. So get up and you look in that mirror and you tell yourself, I am worthy. And you'll notice something happen to you. The more you say it, you'll be able to hold your own eyes, which means you won't look away, but you will look into your own eyes. And when you say, I am worthy, you'll feel a little bit of heat rise in your body. And you say, oh, That's nice. You'll stomp your foot and you say, I am worthy. And you will find that when you look into your own eyes, you will call forth your own worthiness. Oh, indeed. But if you don't start looking, how will you find it? It is there. So you see, my beautiful friends, today, you spent the weekend, hopefully, reminding yourself of I am. At every turn, I am. Now, what do you want that I am to be? I am worthy, right? So practice. I know sometimes it can be challenging. Yes, I know. Listen, we have spent a lifetime in the dark. The pupils are wide open to get in as much light as possible. And then the law comes along and flips the switch, and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed and flooded with the light of knowledge. You're like, whoa, that hurts. Only for a moment until your eyes adjust. And now you begin to see the stumbling blocks that were hidden in the darkness that you used to trip over all the time. That's the beauty of the law. That is the beauty of the law. It turns on the light for you so that you can see. Well, as above, so below. You see in the spirit, but below we see with these eyes. And perhaps that seeing needs assistance, lenses. Who knows? But we are no longer in the dark. So you cannot behave as if you are still in the dark. We don't grope anymore. We don't have to because it is laid out right in front of us. It is illuminated so we can see. So that's what I want to tell you this morning. You are worthy. You are. Oh, but I never was treated that way. No, you may not have been treated that way, but you know why you weren't? Because it was somebody else's perspective. It's how they saw you. Because it's the way they saw themselves. It has nothing to do with you. You now are in a position to acknowledge your own worth and run with it. That's what you are in a position to do. But again, sometimes we like to hold on to that feeling of unworthiness because it is familiar. What they tell you? Better the devil you know than the one you don't. You see how we soothe ourselves with nonsense? Hmm? You are worthy, and I dare you to look at it and see it. I dare you. If you would but simply open your eyes, you'll see it. And when you see it, you'll start living according to it. Because it is I am. It is the blueprint that you are recreating. Copy, copy. You're pushing copy every day on that photocopier. What's on the glass? Worthy or unworthy? Well, the photocopier is going to copy. So put the best image on the glass so that you get the right thing that you say you want to experience. So no more of this entertaining, and I know how easy it is to entertain. those kinds of unsavory thoughts. When in actuality, if we would but see that they are only thoughts, they're only thoughts, right? But look at the law of correspondence. It tells you as above, so below, as within, so without. So if you are entertaining the thought that is worthwhile, your body will respond in kind, your mood will be lifted, so will the corners of your cheeks, and you will smile. All because you did what? You changed the thought. You changed the cause because you did not like the effect you were experiencing. Sometimes I go somewhere, and if my son's not with me and I see something, I will hear his voice in the back of my head. And I will have to laugh. I don't have a choice because it was something totally crazy that he said to make me laugh. And then, bam, all of these endorphins start rolling through my body and I feel good. Now, what did I do? Nobody knows what I did. All I did was think. Remember the scripture, whatever is good, whatever is honorable, think on these things. Why? Because as within, so without. If you think about things that lift your mood, you now begin to act according to what that mood is. But if you think of something that drags the mood down, and now we got this ball and chain, we're trying to get through the day, we're just dragging ourselves. As I keep telling you, according to the law of rhythm, you're not going to be happy all day, every day. There is an ebb and there is a flow. I was just about to say there's an ebb and a flow, but it all is dependent upon what you know. Dear Jesus, I'm not a rapper, but we got bars today. Sorry. Ebb and flow. Bars. Right? But that's what it is. You don't have to be happy all day, every day. But what do you know? Because it is what you know that will lift you and elevate you all the time. And elevation doesn't mean, yay, it doesn't mean happy. We think it does, but it does not. Happiness depends on a mood. But when you know the law, you are not tossed to and fro by moods. You're not tossed to and fro by moods. Oh, today I feel, yay, oh, yay, oh. No, you're not tossed to and fro by any of those things. Why? Because the law is your anchor. And it says to you, we good. It says to you, it reminds you every day, the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. You are at peace knowing that when you have an image in your mind and you project it outward, you are now recreating it. That is peace itself, to know you are not victim to the waves in the ocean to be crashed towards the shore. You're not. Your peace of mind comes from the very fact of knowing my needs are met. Well, how are your needs met? Because as soon as the need arises, it is fulfilled. Wait, what? Of course it is. Every cause has its effect. The need exists because it does. You're dealing with something. So the effect now has to come along because they're travel buddies, they're travel companions. There aren't any voids. There's nothing missing in your life. It cannot be. There are no holes. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. That is what's telling you that you don't have a void anywhere. You are not missing anything, right? So then you observe your life and you say, oh, the moment you say, I want, well, before you even say it, the very fact of recognizing, oh, snap, I could use this. The minute you recognize it, it is done. As soon as you recognize the need, it has been fulfilled. Is that so, Angela? Really? Well, yes. Not because I say so, because the law says so. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. But because you can't see it with your physical eyes, you think it is not there. Not you, I'm saying we. We. Because this is what we do as people.
We all do.
Yes, coach, we do.
Think about the air that we breathe. We don't even think or put value on that like we should. We don't see that, but we breathe it, right?
Yes, that's it right there. And we take it for granted. We take it for granted, but you know who doesn't take it for granted? The person who has to tote around the oxygen tank. They don't take it for granted. So today,
gratitude.
Yes.
You gotta gratitude. Like, what is your gratitude? Like, what are you really appreciative about? Because you know, the other day, a tire came off my car when I drove. Thank God that I wasn't doing more than 10 miles per hour when it happened. You know what I'm saying? And I got upset because I did sit out there for almost 3 hours waiting for the tow truck driver to get there, right? But when he got there, he was a young black dude about my age. And just to see his gratitude about life, that man showed me a picture of 2 cars that he picked up before me. And he was like, man, this brother right here, he came to get mad to have to wait for me. He said, that brother gone. Like, it changed my whole everything. Like, I wasn't even mad. The anger I had for waiting, it just went away, yo. Because, like, come on. I could be like that dude. You get what I'm saying? So, what gratitude do you have for even the bad things that happen to you, that you come out still alive and happy and able to speak with your loved ones?
Facts. That's it right there. See? That's what I'm trying to tell you. And coach, you summed it up so beautifully. Because it is so true. You see, that's why I keep saying sometimes we think that gratitude is this thing we got to go and try and conjure up. But in actuality, it is a natural effect that happens. It's there. These things happen naturally. We don't have to force them. Right? We don't have to force them. The gratitude just emerges. Don't worry, it does. Listen, it is such a beautiful thing. And I know that we sometimes are challenged, some of us more so than others, not because we're punished, but because that is the direction we are looking in. What does the law tell you? It says, seek and you will find. So if you keep looking at the bad, you have to find it. You have to find the evidence of it. So now it should tell you, look for the good. You look for it, you have to find it. That is law. So at every moment that we have with this air in our lungs, for every moment, for every breath that you're taking, know that you are worthy. Every single breath. When you inhale, you better get that thought, I am worthy. And the more you say it, it's going to build momentum for you. You're not doing it randomly. You're not doing it on autopilot. You're doing it deliberately. when you remind yourself deliberately that you are worthy, that's what will change you and light that fire. Listen, the fire can't go out. Well, the embers are there. All you got to do is blow on them a little bit. You got to fan the flames. You got to stir it up. That's on you now. I may get you started in the morning, but that's on you. You got to maintain this now. And you have it within you to maintain. You have it. Because as soon as the fire starts, what is the accelerant you're going to use? I am worthy. That's your accelerant. Keep it going, and you will begin to see it. You will see the evidence of it. You will see it. It is law. Let us take a brief moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space. Twitter is lit up this morning. Hey, Jeff, I see you. Draco, Lilith, hey girl. Oh, hello, Jade. I see you. Welcome to the space here on Twitter, y'all. It's good to see you. Who's here? Facebook, I know we got Indy. YouTube, who's here? S. Hello. You're new to me. Are you? I think you are. Cyber, yeah, I know, right? Poor Joe. I got to get George a break. Goddess Pure Diamond. Joaquin. Asanya. Shea Butter. Anot. I see you all here on YouTube. Who's here on Fanbase this morning? Vonnie, Marley, Casey. Hey, Dawn. Miss McQueen. Oh. Afternoon Delight. Yeah, I know that. Listen, that just means that's your name, okay? I see you. Oh, I have missed you. I am glad to see this beautiful face. And I trust that beautiful baby is doing well too. Summer Rose, Coach, My Melanin, Zola, Oracle Treehouse. Yes, it is so good. It is so good. Mozinga, hello, darling. So you see, my beautiful friends, today as you go through the day, and I'm going to pull up the bowl with this one, but as you go through the day, catch yourself. It may not be a thought that you catch, but it may be the effect of that thought. It may be that behavior. How does someone of worth behave? Right? So it may be not just your thought, it may be the action that you catch yourself doing. Reinforce the fact that you are worthy. Reinforce it. And where are you reinforcing it? In your mind's eye. It's what you whisper to yourself. Whispers in the morning, yeah? You whisper that. Because it doesn't stay hidden, does it? Oh, no. Nope. It has to bear fruit. So catch it and remind yourself that you are worthy. You are. You see, a lot of things have gone into influencing us, right? We hear things. Oh, you got to be submissive. Oh, you got to be this. Oh, you got to be that. Oh, you got to be feminine. You got to be soft. Let me tell you something, okay? I'm going to be gentle now. Who determines what is soft in your world? You do. But you see, when we allow people and opinions to come along and say a woman should behave this particular way, a woman should be seen and not heard, or a man should lead, a man should. Listen, let me tell you something. The should is discipline. You should be disciplined. Where? In your thoughts. Because if you are disciplined in your thoughts, you will be disciplined in your behavior. And if you are disciplined in your behavior, you are steadfast. Because it is the discipline of the person that determines the type of person that they are. You want to run around and say, I'm supposed to be the head, I'm supposed to lead. But you better be disciplined. Then you don't have to force your leadership. It is just acknowledged, man and woman alike. But here we are trying to live up to a particular standard that somebody who doesn't know you or your life is telling you that you should be. When in actuality, if you live by way of law, meaning be deliberate in your thoughts, you don't entertain things that drag you down, you entertain things that lift you up. And anytime you catch yourself rocking in the corner, you say, hey, what are you doing? Get up out that corner. And you begin to lift yourself up by way of law, because the law tells you as above, so below, as within, so without. So what you entertain in secret in your mind, you're going to express on the outside. So clean that up. Clean it up. And what are you cleaning up? Your thoughts. Why? Because everything is moving. You're moving from that old way you used to be to the new. Oh, yes. And now you're forming a new rhythm. You're forming a new habit, a new way of being. Why? Because every cause, that new way now is a cause that will bring about that new effect. Why? Because you made a conscious decision. That masculine, the conscious decision to say, hey, I am. And you projected the image into the womb of your subconscious mind to show your body what you say you're going to be. And now the experience has to come back to you. So don't be out here in these streets fretting about I'm a man, I should lead, or I'm a woman, I should be soft, I should submit. Those things happen naturally when you discipline your mind. You must discipline the mind so that something can, listen, anything can come along. I will use Job as the example. Job had one conviction, only one. You can do whatever you want to me. I ain't gonna change. That was his one conviction. Even though his wife said, look at all these things you're going through. You might as well just curse God and die. He was like, woman, hush. He had one conviction, just one. And that was, I am steadfast, regardless of my surroundings, regardless of what I see, regardless of what I hear. That is the mind of a disciplined person. They are not governed and ruled by hot and cold. They're not governed and ruled by you like me or you don't. They're not. They know where their help comes from within. They know where they are anchored. They know where their security is within. So you can't shake them. You can't move them. You can't manipulate them. So the aim is this: discipline the mind. Well, how do you discipline the mind? By being deliberate in your thoughts. Being deliberate, not being emotional. It doesn't mean that you're cold. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means when an emotion arises, you examine it because you are looking at yourself. And the emotion is telling you, hey, you believe that thing. You want to, or you want to leave that behind. That's what your emotions are telling you. But you see what we do? We allow our emotions to rule us and dictate our behavior. When in actuality, an emotion has no power over you. You are the one to dictate your behavior. That is discipline. Aim to be disciplined, not to rule over someone, because you are the ultimate ruler, the ruler of self. But I digress. I digress. Let's get the ball. And so that discipline begins with the recognition that you are worthy. And you don't take no. You know how kids are on the playground? Oh my God, you're so dumb. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's what you say. No, I'm not, because I am worthy. Let me get the ball, because you know what happens. You know what happens. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. And because Marley's here, we say one love. Because we're Bob Marley today. Anyhow, 1. Jeff, Lilith, I love you both. And I will see you tonight. What are we doing tonight? We're reading Neville Goddard, Brazen Impudence. Oh, yes, we are. So I'll see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love, Twitter. Twitter is closed. YouTube, I love you all. And Facebook, thank you all for being here. It is a great day. Much love to you all.